Hey, Sports World, another episode of Sports with Psycho Sam, and this is just a review on the game. It was a very disappointing game. Our offensive play calling was terrible, I believe, in my opinion. Still need a lot of work on that. We do have a lot of young guys on that offense. I mean, the average age has got to be at least like 25 years old. Don't really have any veteran leadership. There's nobody really I see out there being a leader. That's usually, on the quarterback. Joe Flacco lacks any type of motivation, and he's got some big cojones calling out Rich Scangarello and the offensive play calling. Saying the Broncos were too scared to go for it, and I kind of agree on that though. I thought they should have been passing the ball, obvious 3rd and 5, do a quick slant, you know, something real quick and easy, short game. That's what they need to start working on, getting in the short passing game, mixing up the run, doing things to make it easier on the offensive line since they're struggling so much. You know, you would think they would want to do more of a quick pass game, do some screens, running back screens, and just getting people more involved. And yeah, I just am not seeing a lot of progression at this point. I've been very hopeful that they would get it together. Maybe they still will, but right now it's kind of disappointing, and they're lacking. I mean, your defense essentially held them to 12 points the entire game until that last drive, to where they gave up the field goal to give them 15 and the go-ahead score. If you're Von Miller, yes, you still do have to make that play on Jacoby Brissett. But I'm tired of hearing people saying that we should get rid of Von Miller. What is getting rid of Von Miller ever going to do? That is not going to do anything. That is going to give us less pass rush. People are going to focus more on Derek Wolfe. They're going to focus more on Bradley Chubb. Having Von Miller makes it easier on those guys up front to get more pressure and to get sacks, because they're so worried about Von Miller coming and destroying their game. That they're focused on him. They're chipping, they're double teaming him, they're even triple teaming him. Like, it doesn't make sense to get rid of your best player. Look what happened to the Raiders when they got rid of Khalil Mack. They're not really getting any sacks over there in Oakland. I'm just tired of hearing that. Von Miller shouldn't go anywhere. And let me just give you a few little stats that we had here, that I think, you know, we could have did a lot better on. 2 of 12, third down conversion, 16%. How are you going to really win a game when you're only converting 16% of your third downs? A lot of that has to do on the play calling, okay? Like, you want to get a 3rd and short, 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4. That's why you do the quick pass game, and you mix it up with the run game. So when you get to 3rd down, it is a lot easier to, you know, convert. It's like you open up the playbook a little bit more, and the defense is struggling to figure out what you're going to do, because you can either run the ball, you can do quick pass, you can do play action. There's a variety of things you can do when you only got a little bit to go, and they're out here guessing what you're going to do. But when you are in 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9, 3rd and 7, or, you know, 3rd and long, you're making it easier on a defense when they know you are going to be passing the ball. Like, it just does not make sense to me to put yourself in that situation. And Joe Flacco has to do a better job of stepping up in the pocket and running when there's nothing there. Like, he holds on to the ball too much, and he also has happy feet. Like, he's always moving his feet. Like, that's not very good. It means he's nervous. It means he's not settled in the pocket, and that has to do with the offensive line too. But you're making it harder on the offensive line when you're always in long distance situations. Get it to where these guys have it easier on them. They don't have to block as long. You know what I mean? The longer you're blocking, the easier it is to get a holding call. The easier it is to get beat for a sack. Got to hold the ball longer. They're just not doing a very good job on offense. And people talking about Von Miller, Von Miller had 5 tackles, 1 assisted tackle, 1.5 sacks, and 3 tackles for loss. So his production came today, and everybody's just wanting to blame him. We threw the ball 32 times, which I think is way too many attempts for Joe Flacco. We ran the ball 28 times. I mean, that's a pretty good mix, though, if you think about it. 32 times throwing the ball, 28 times running the ball. It's a good little mix. But I believe we should be running the ball more times than we are throwing the ball. Lindsey had 14 carries. Freeman had 12. They did a pretty good job. Lindsey had 4.2 yards per carry, and I believe Freeman had like 3.8 yards per carry. We just need to do a better job physically up front as well. Like, we got to be more physical. The point of attack, you know, we shouldn't be getting pushed back. You want to push forward and make them, you know, struggle. You force them back and be on their heels. Also, like, total yards on offense, we had 279 yards total offense. 166 yards of those were passing, 113 rushing. We gave up 3 sacks. We fumbled the ball. We did possess the ball for 30 minutes and 44 seconds, but yards per play was 4.4 yards per play. That's not a very high win percentage on each play, okay? And especially when you're not converting on third down. The Colts had 318 total yards, 127 rushing yards, 191 passing yards. They allowed 4 sacks. They lost a fumble. They fumbled twice. And their yards per play were 5.3, and their possession was 29 minutes and 16 seconds. So we basically possessed the time of the game, but we gave up more yards than they did. And they converted 4 out of 12 third downs. You know, that's a 33% clip right there of converting. We just got to do a better job of play calling and being in the right sets and just coming up with plays, man. We too many missed tackles on the defensive side, and too many times did we drop the ball on the offensive side as well. Very disappointing. It's just sad to see the negativity around this, though. I still think, after all of this being said, that we got something to look forward to. You know what I mean? It might not be this season, but next season I believe is going to be a lot better. And don't take this the wrong way. I'm not already looking till next season. I'm just saying, with all of everything to coming together, these guys are young. You know, Noah Fant, 21, 22 years old. Cortland Sutton's like 23 years old. Dalton Reiser's young. Most people on the offensive line are average age of like 26 years old, 27, you know. Deshaun Hamilton's what, 22, 23. Tim Patrick's got to be like 25, 26. Philip Lindsay's about what, 24. Same with Royce Freeman. Like, all of these guys are young. I'm just looking forward to them learning more and still developing, you know. So it is upon the coaching staff and upon these veteran guys to step up. We're lacking the veteran support. We're lacking the leadership that, you know, I don't see a fire on that sideline. Like, you need to be getting up into guys and you know, firing them up and, like, you know, telling them that we're still in this and motivating your players when they're doing a very good job. I'm just not seeing that fire out of those older guys. I mean, I've seen the fire from freaking Cortland Sutton when he's catching balls and the defense is committing penalties on him, trying to stop him. Guy's a beast. Again, 3 receptions for like 73 yards. Targeted 6 times. Had a couple drops. I wish we didn't have, you know, all those drops. And I think they need to get Noah Fant involved more. You know, they need to get a lot of guys involved more, in my opinion. It seems like they're only going to a couple people, and, you know, other teams are going to be looking at that. You can't be a one-dimensional team. You can't just be looking down wide receivers, and you got to make your reads. You got to make your proper reads. That's on Joe Flacco right there. And so, yeah, those are just some of my thoughts on the game. Basketball season has started. Looking forward to that. The Lakers are playing tonight. That's my basketball team. Always has been, always will be. So, go Lakers. And here's moving on to the next game against the Browns. The Browns aren't that well this year either. And I called that from the beginning of the season. I said they weren't going to start off well, but they might end up doing pretty good at the end of the season. I still believe that. But hopefully the Broncos can stop their run game, make Baker Mayfield make mistakes, get after him. He doesn't do too well under pressure. And they're still learning over there too in Cleveland. So I think we have a good chance of winning that football game. And we can still turn this around. You know, we started off that year, I believe it was 2011, Tim Tebow, man, came in and we strung off like 6 games in a row to end the season, 8-8, and barely squeezed into the playoffs. We just need to get better play calling. We just need to get better at the end of the game on defense, making those tackles, making those stops. Can't afford to make mistakes. Did a very good job not turning the ball over. We need to continue that, and we need to, I mean, there was a point right there at the beginning of the game, we passed it 3 times in a row at the 3-yard line. Why not give it to Royce Freeman? Why not give it to Philip Lindsay? I mean, at least once or twice. Mix it up. You know, you're just passing it. And they were terrible play calls. Did not like the play calling. And look at what happened when we did hand the ball off to Royce Freeman. He scored the only touchdown that we scored. Just need to see better from Scangarello, man. Rich Scangarello needs to do a better job game planning And man, I'm stumbling over on my words. I'm so freaking frustrated, just frustrated and disappointed. But here's to hoping to better days. Go Broncos, DB4L, always will be. And hopefully next week we get a win and things start to turn in our favor. If you want to go ahead and like this video, go ahead. And if you want to subscribe, do that too. And if you have any comments, go ahead and leave those as well. I'm out. Rah!